compartida con Alfonso de María, que está en el INA, el Instituto Nacional de Antropología e Historia. Espero que disfruten mucho esta presentación y sin más, los dejo con los expositores.
I think I've got... Let me turn my microphone on. Excellent. Can everyone hear me? Put up your hand if you can hear me. All right. Put up your hand if you're listening to me in English. And how many people are listening to the Spanish translation? There's a delay. Okay, cool. All right, so it sounds like I can talk medium fast and everything will be just fine, right? Okay, thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for doing this. We found out about half an hour ago that we were both going to be here, so this is exciting. Everything is improvised to some extent. This session is about a product from Google called Google SketchUp. Who's heard of Google SketchUp before? Do we have any Google SketchUp users? A few? Guilty hands? Oh, Mr. Computer Head.
Muy pocos,
Cabeza
muy
de computadora up there. Okay, perfect.
Very few, muy pocos.
Let's move along. So we have Google SketchUp. And let's just run through really quickly. The mantra, the slogan for SketchUp has been 3D for everyone. There is 3D modeling software, but most of it is very expensive and it's very hard to use. When we set out to make SketchUp, we tried to make a tool that was very easy to use so that literally anyone could use it. SketchUp is actually just as old as Google. It was developed originally in 1999, and it was acquired by Google in 2006. And we've been Googlers ever since. There's a free version and a pro version of SketchUp. SketchUp's available in English, Spanish, and also 10 other languages, including Brazilian Portuguese. Unlike other software from Google, SketchUp is actually a client app. It lives on your computer, so you download it, which means you can use it without the internet, which is kind of a nice thing sometimes. You don't need an internet connection, but it's nice to have one because a lot of the content that I'm going to show you is actually online. So the first thing I kind of want to back up and do is talk about why we use 3D models in the first place, right? Let's take a look at something really quickly here. Okay. That's my house. So right now I'm going to show you, excuse me, sir. That's my sofa, and this is my kitchen, and this is my dining room table. But it's a strange kind of picture, right? This is the sort of picture we're used to looking at when we look at architecture, right? It's a top-down projection. We're looking from the sky, almost like a dollhouse, right? It's cut sort of like that. The trouble with drawings like this is they're hard for people to understand. Unless you have training, it can be hard to figure out really quickly, where's the entrance? Where's the front door to my house? Right? You got it down there? That's the front door. Very good. But some people can't read drawings very well. Let's look at another projection. Check this out. Okay, so this is a little better, right? Because what we've done is we've turned on perspective. Do you see the perspective? So it's almost like you're looking down into the thing, like you're God, and you sort of remove the roof and look, and you can eat the people, which is exciting. But I'm going to do one better. Watch this. This is a section cut perspective. So what this actually is a three-dimensional model of my house. See, this is my sofa. Same thing we were looking at before in my dining room table and my kitchen. In fact, that 2D drawing, the two-dimensional drawing I showed you, is actually just a two-dimensional projection from a three-dimensional model that I built in SketchUp. Now, there are two people who are nerds in this building right now. That guy with the computer on his head and me, because I spent probably 100 hours modeling my house so that I could figure out which tables I could put in which chairs. Let's look at something else. So we're in Google Earth. Hands up if you used Google Earth before. Hooray for Google Earth. It's the universal application. Let's go to Mexico City and kind of fly in. Now, there's a thing that a lot of people don't know about Google Earth, and that's actually that Google Earth is three-dimensional as well. So watch this. I'm just going to zoom in, and we'll sort of flip down a little bit. Now, this is how, believe it or not, a lot of people look at Google Earth. They say, well, that was fun. I can see the mountains and the hills, but I can't see anything here. There is a magic layer right here. Does everybody see this? 3D buildings? I'm going to turn on that and watch what happens. These are 3D models that were built in SketchUp and donated to Google so that we could put them in Google Earth so that the whole world can see them. And depending on the speed of your internet connection, they load quickly or slowly, depending on where you are. Hands up if you've seen 3D buildings in Google Earth before. Oh, so this is an expert audience. I didn't need to show that. Okay, we will move to something else. Okay, let's move along. So really quickly, the idea of using 3D models, and this is key, right? Like way back then, there was cavemen, and they would carve a picture of a buffalo in the cave, right? And it was like buffalo, and everybody would know that they meant buffalo because there's a buffalo. And then at some point, we came up with drawing on skins, and then we came up with drawing on paper made out of very valuable things, and then we made paper, and then we took photographs. Well, the next thing after photographs is 3D models, and the reason for that is because a lot of the problems from architecture to engineering to GIS and spatial, anything like that, is a three-dimensional problem, and you need three-dimensional software to solve those three-dimensional problems. Does that make sense? Another reason to use this is that 3D models are easier to understand than 2D drawings. And most importantly, hands up if you can draw, if you're really good at drawing. A few people. I'm not going to make you draw, I promise. But did you notice how many people had used SketchUp before? Right? Building models in SketchUp and other 3D modeling programs can be easier than drawing for a lot of people. And that's because you're modeling what's there, not a representation of what's there. Ooh, so it gets a little complicated. Okay, so again, SketchUp is 3D for everyone. The thing we like to talk about is the fact that it's easy, obviously. Whoops, oh, that wasn't me. Okay, so it's intuitive. It's affordable. Speaking to the intuitive part, how long is the demo when you download SketchUp Pro? How long can you try it out before it stops working? Does anybody know? 8 hours. We give you 8 hours to figure out if you want to spend $500 on SketchUp Pro. And that's because most people can do a whole project in their first 8 hours with SketchUp. It's easy. Affordable. There's a free version, and the most expensive version of SketchUp is $500. It's popular. This year, we hit 2 million 7-day actives, which means in any given 7-day period, 2 million people around the world logged on and used SketchUp. That's amazing. I mean, SketchUp is a specialized program, right? It makes 3D models. It's not like putting your photos up or Facebook or something common. This is what we consider to be a specialized activity, but 2 million people in any 7-day period are doing this. It's unbelievable. And then most importantly, SketchUp's actually connected to Google Earth and to Google Maps and all the other mountains of Google geodata that we have available. And that's really powerful. So let's look at that again. Let's just fire up SketchUp and take a look at some things. Okay, so that's my house. We'll say goodbye to my house. Don't save. And we'll... Somewhere in Colorado, my house just disappeared. That's how powerful Google is. Pew, gone, just like that. Okay, and they're going to put in a Starbucks. Who knows this person's name? Does anybody know her name? That's Susan. So nobody wins the prize. Susan is actually a developer on the SketchUp team. She's a programmer. We choose a different member of the SketchUp team for every release. This is SketchUp 8. The tools are up here. This is the modeling window, and down here we have measurements. Does everybody see these colored axes here? Blue, green, red? Everybody sees that? Here's the reason for that. If I want to draw a line that's parallel to the red axis, I'm going to go red, green, red, green, and red until I match up, and then I can hit that. And watch, when I take this orbit tool, I actually drew a figure on the ground, and I specified 90-degree angles, right? This is 90 degrees, without actually having to type 90 degrees. This is all part of what makes SketchUp so easy to use. Now, let's say I wanted to draw a wall that came up like this. If I want to draw in the up direction, what color do I need to draw? Blue, right, azul. I'm learning Spanish. Okay, let's go right there. Azul. Like that. We're going to go blue, and then I want to go parallel. I want to go parallel to this edge. So what color is that? Green, verde. Like verde? Yeah, verde, verde. Okay, we're going to go green. And then when I'm above it, it's going to tell me automatically. And then I can go back down in the blue and check it out. I made a wall without actually having to do any typing. I'm just drawing, and that's beautiful for somebody like me who is a drawing nerd. Watch this. If I don't follow the colors, check it out. So I'm going to say, you know what, I'm too smart. I'm not using the colors. I'm just going to do that. It looks exactly the same, right? But if I take orbit, check it out. Oh, so it's a little bit of a mind-blowing thing there, right? The reason is because we're looking at a three-dimensional environment in perspective, but it's projected on a two-dimensional plane. And that's the hardest thing about 3D software for people, is we're trying to work in a three-dimensional environment on a two-dimensional plane. So it's incredibly important to look at the colors all the time in SketchUp. In SketchUp, color is direction. Everybody get that? Let's repeat that. Ready? On 1, 2, 3, SketchUp, color is direction. 1, 2, 3. Color is direction. All right. If you want, you can get it tattooed. No, I'm not going to. Okay. Okay, the most famous tool in SketchUp, this is it. The push-pull tool. If I just zoom out a little and I click here, and I can just pull that up, now it's 3D. Check it out. I'm going to orbit around. Let's push this down, maybe pull that in. Let's make a little thing. No, the girl, oh, Alfonso, you're missing the girl. So we'll put una puerta right here, and I'll just get rid of this bottom edge, and the girl is, well, we have to go inside. We have to go, maybe we make a window here, and use push-pull and just push that in, and then delete that. There she is. Hola, Susan. She's inside. So it was kind of terrible for her that she was trapped in there, but these things happen. Let's push this in. I'm going to push that in. Let's actually push this in here. I sort of like it like that. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to take a little edge, and I'm going to go from here all the way across in the green direction to there. And I'm going to get rid of this edge right here. Watch this. This is the move tool. Move. I'm going to click on this and say up in the blue direction. And I made a roof. Not so bad. Let's take the offset tool and offset that. I'm just going to come across with an edge right here because edges cut other edges. Let's get rid of this stuff. And I can come in here and I can say, let's just take this and drag it all the way across. And I can even, if I take my little materials, I can come in here and say, I want some roofing, and let's paint some roof on there. And we could take some brick, maybe. And let's take a brick, and let's just put it right there. Okay? So this is, I mean, this is the incredibly simple demo, and I promise there's a lot more to show. But everybody kind of gets the idea, right? It's drawing edges, it's extruding shapes, it's push-pulling, things like that. The really powerful thing about SketchUp, outside of its connection to just being, you know, my favorite thing in the whole world, is this, though. I'm going to go, actually, I have a new baby, and that's my favorite thing in the whole world. And then my wife. So it's my baby, my wife, my mother, and then SketchUp, like that. Okay. No. Wait. Yeah, I'll work it out. She's not watching. We'll go here. Let's say I want to make a building that is in a specific place in the world. So I just hit this button. See, it says Add Location. And I'm going to type in, where in the world, somebody name a location, not Mexico. Where should we build something? Where is that? Barcelona. Okay, let's try that. So we're going to say, I want to make something in Barcelona. Well, we could have done Mexico, but it's so expected. You would think that I was faking it and that I'd maybe prepared something. So I wanted to go someplace random. Oh, this is perfect. Look at this. When I see, as an architect, when I see a space like this, I just want to make a big tower. Don't you want to make like a big building right there? So let's do that. I'm going to take this thing, and I'm going to say, I want to build a building right here. And we'll just grab that. And what actually happens is in SketchUp, I get that right there on the ground. See that? And there we see Susan. But we're going to delete Susan because she gets deleted all the time. And then I'm going to start drawing something. Let's maybe pull this up. Let's pull this in. Maybe pull that up. Let's pull this out. We can put this up. We can do that maybe. Oh, this is much better. Gaudí is rolling over in his grave right now because I'm ruining his city. But let's say we wanted to, in this case, I mean, clearly, if this is going to be my house in Barcelona, I'm going to have a helicopter that can land there. Because I'm not going to fight traffic. That would be stupid. So let's just put the helicopter is a little bit big, but that's okay because I can take it and I can make it, let's just put it right there. Excellent. And in fact, I am in SketchUp too because I work at SketchUp. So I could take me, and I'm going to put me right there. If you come to work at SketchUp, you can be in SketchUp too. Actually, you can be in SketchUp anytime you want. All you have to do is make the model and upload it, and then you can search for yourself. I have a huge ego. This is the tower, and of course, any good tower should be, what color?
Green.
What's that? Green? Verde, verde, okay, so green. And we'll just color that green. Maybe we do a different shade of green. That's not green, that's orange. And we'll do this. Lovely. Now, I want to see this in Google Earth, so I hit one button, click. It's going to take that 3D model. I'm going to automatically in Google Earth fly to Barcelona. And eventually the terrain will actually load. Here we go. Dun-da-da. And eventually Barcelona will appear underneath my tower, and when it does, we will give it a big round of applause. But right now, I think it's not going to do it. Okay? Everybody see that? Very simple, right? I just bring in a site, I make a little model, and I send it to Earth, and if Earth is working, Earth is not my product. If Earth is working properly, then everything should work just fine. Okay. Not sure exactly why Earth didn't load, but we can turn off the photorealistic buildings, and maybe sometime it'll actually load in. Okay. Let's go back to the deck and look at this. Okay, so there's some specific, this is supposed to be a session about using SketchUp in government operations. So let's look at some very specific use cases for this. I'm going to start with community planning. These are some examples from Boulder, where the SketchUp office is located. Very simple. They went in and they took a plan of the city, and it was important to be able to show the residents exactly how the development that was being planned was going to impact them. So something very simple, right? New construction is going to impact the residents, but you need to create a visualization of that new construction so that people can agree with the project because they have to pay taxes and they shouldn't burn it down. So this is some of the new development. Those are just slides that show some of the work that people have done with SketchUp in local government. This is another example in Carson City. So not only did we add trees and a pedestrian zone to this, but this is actually a first-person experience of that space. What I want to show you is something really cool here. I'm going to go back over to SketchUp. Google Earth is not behaving itself right now, so let's say don't save. I'm going to take a, let's close this, don't save, and we will open a new file. There's a particular location where I spotted a juicy opportunity for these kinds of things, and it may or may not open. Check it out. I have something stashed in my back pocket, so we don't have to worry about this. Okay. Force quit. Excellent. What is the first thing that we do when we're working on a computer? When you have made something that you like, what do? Save. That's exactly it. And that's exactly why, because computers are evil. He's not evil, but computers are evil. I'm going to open SketchUp again. Okay. Let's just get rid of that and get rid of this. These are extra tools that have opened up that I can use if I want them. And instead of doing this, I'm just going to use a file that I already have. What this is called the Torre Mayor here in Mexico City. So what I did is I went in and I downloaded all of the buildings that were associated with this Google Earth snapshot that I brought in. And the imaginary scenario here is that I would like to build maybe some apartments or something on this site, but the residents are afraid that those towers are going to cast shadows on their apartments, right? Watch what we can do in SketchUp. I'm going to turn on shadows, and then I'm going to change the time of day. This is morning to evening, just like this, or all throughout the year. And I can prove to the people of the tower that's going to go up in that space that the shadows are never going to impact this space because SketchUp knows exactly where these buildings are on Earth. The latitude is brought in when you bring in a snapshot from SketchUp. Isn't that cool? I think that's pretty cool because, well, so I can start the up part. Excellent. Okay, we'll do that. All right. Let's go back to this for a second. Okay, in terms of event planning, I had asked you to please, do we have any music? Before we were playing, because watching videos with no music is boring and we're halfway through right now, so it's important. We had like put a ring on it before, but this is good too. Excellent, okay. That's how it works. Okay, so this is actually the Pepsi Center in Denver. And 4 years ago, before the last federal election, the Democratic National Convention asked us to help them study how to do maybe security and other logistics planning around the Democratic National Convention that was going to happen in Denver. So this is a little video that we created so that we could show them what was going on. And so this is showing exactly, these are possibly the satellite trucks for the media will be parked there. We'll have ambulances on hand. Finally, there's these guys, the level of impenetrable security. And then this was to maybe show the candidate when they're coming into the convention exactly what their sequence is going to be like, right? So maybe we're going to move through this hallway, and there's scary-looking U.S. Marines. This is a very cool thing. There used to be a bug in SketchUp that this would flash. We fixed that, but it makes it look like cameras are going off. So sometimes a bug can be a good thing. And then we want to walk up on the stage. And you can see that all of this, maybe this person is like, oh, hello, Mr. President-to-be, we're going to go. You can pretend you're Barack Obama. This is the Barack Obama cam. And it was made a year before he was even elected. After this little scene, we're going to look at security planning, which is actually really important. This was probably the thing that they were most excited about. What we did is we placed some security positions in the model. And then we can use SketchUp's really easy camera system to look specifically through the eyes of this person. So this is imagining, if he's standing there, this is exactly what he's going to be able to see while standing in the model. So we'll skip ahead through this a little bit. And then this is so that we can plan to see what the different points of view will be for attendees. We can make sure that everybody can see the stage. He's not really very important anymore, but when we put together this video, he was actually very important. I think this is before he made the screen. And then what we'll see in this last little view is that if a person is sitting up here in the Pepsi Center, look, the flags that we'd planned to install are actually going to obscure the view. So once again, three-dimensional imagery is enabling us to learn something that two-dimensional imagery wouldn't have. And then finally, these are possible camera positions. So when we're working with the media in the convention and we want to figure out where the media can put their cameras, SketchUp actually has a way to look through real-world cameras to understand exactly what the shot is going to be like so that you can look at things like that. Let's move along. Okay. Let's go, next slide. Here we go. Okay, disaster response. This is a pretty simple one, actually. But one of the things that people have been doing with SketchUp, we had Earth, but I'm prepared for just this eventuality because Earth decided to have a problem. We'll go here. Check it out. So this is just a little piece of Google Earth, and what this agency wanted to do was say, hypothetically, if a huge tidal wave or a tsunami or an earthquake or something hit Southern California, this is actually a little piece of San Diego, how would we set up an emergency tent city on this site? And so what you can see is that here, very simple, they've just said these are going to be power generating trucks, and those are funny six-sided tents that somebody designed, and there's power generating trucks and other little infirmaries all over the place. This one, I wasn't sure if I should show you. The kind of little not-so-good secret about SketchUp is that it was actually originally funded by military people. A lot of people were very interested in this technology for things. So this is actually being done by a contractor. These are an entire fake city that U.S. forces can train in. It's supposed to look a little bit like something in the Middle East, I guess. But everything is actually made out of shipping containers that are just painted. So you can see this is the SketchUp model over there, and this is the actual photograph of the city. So they build whole fake cities, and the whole thing is designed in SketchUp. Does everybody remember this model? Yeah? Who lived in here? lived. No, Osama lived in there. Apparently, anyway, what we got really excited when we saw this model, because this model was actually provided to the media by the CIA and the Department of Defense. And doesn't this model look like SketchUp? It's kind of neat. I mean, we thought maybe they use, I don't know, maybe they're not going to tell me, but maybe they use SketchUp to find Osama bin Laden. And that makes me feel like a hero, even though I'm Canadian. Okay, so really quickly, we're going to come back to the end, but if you want to get SketchUp, this is how you do it. You download it, you can go to our webpage, just like this, again, available in all languages, as long as you speak one of the 12 that we have, and that's the URL. Or the easier way to get SketchUp is probably just to go to Google and type in SketchUp, right? This is kind of how everybody finds everything anymore. Or you can use Bing. Okay, so the last scenario that I think I'd like to talk about is SketchUp and historic preservation. I'd like to introduce my new friend, Mr. Alfonso de Maria. Let's give him a big hand. He's the Director General of INA. And he's going to tell you about some fantastic work that this agency is doing using SketchUp and Google Earth to preserve culturally significant sites here in Mexico. Thank you.
Gracias, Chopra. Gracias,
Excellent.
Chopra.
De nada. Okay.
Thank you, Chopra. Creo que es muy importante ver cómo nosotros en el instituto tenemos una misión que es resguardar la memoria de lo que tenemos en materia arqueológica, de lo que tenemos en monumentos históricos. Por eso, desde la primera vez quisimos reunirnos. Change it. Okay. Gracias, Chopra. No, gracias, Chopra.
No, we got it. Now we're in the wrong. We're going to say exit show. Okay. All right. Computers are what? Evil. Exactly. Okay. So how do we go to full screen mode? Does anybody know PowerPoint? Yeah? What button do I press? F11. F11. It's a Mac. Okay, wait. I think I have like this. Let's see. I'm so sorry about this. I promise we're going to get this fixed. So if we're here, and normally I just press this, and then I press this, and it says slideshow. So maybe it's a two-monitor thing? I don't know. Okay, this is what we're going to do instead. Okay, we're going to close this. Does anybody know any good songs? We can sing a song while I do this. I promise we're going to do this very quickly. Here we go. We're going to open it up again and see what happens. Oh, everybody gets to see my hard drive now. Spooky, you can see my pictures. I like to look at. This is my family down here. Okay. Right. Ta-da. Let's try this. Okay. Why is this not? Let's try that. Swap displays. I think we got it. Okay, can you put it back? On my computer?
That's okay.
Is it possible to show this computer? I'm so sorry about this.
Oh, don't worry.
The guy with the computer on his head, can you fix this? Really, you shouldn't wear that costume if you can't fix this problem.
Con toda la información que nos ha dado Chopra, no es tan importante porque ya realmente vimos, las imágenes nuestras son imágenes bastante aburridas comparadas con las que nos ha demostrado maestro Chopra. Yo creo que es más sencillo explicar lo que estamos haciendo. En primer lugar, hemos establecido una alianza estratégica con Google para usar todas sus herramientas y aprovechar todas sus visitas, subiendo mucho del material que el instituto ya tiene en forma tradicional, pero ahora hemos empezado con sistemas también desde hace 3 años de SketchUps. ¿Qué es lo que hemos hecho? Hemos hecho un gran concurso con Google de SketchUps, primero dirigido a estudiantes, después dirigido ahora en esta edición a el público en general, y lo que tenemos de esta manera es la capacidad de ver nuestros monumentos históricos, nuestras zonas arqueológicas y subirlas a Google Earth o al acceso de Google de una manera de tercera dimensión. No nada más las rayitas de su casa que nos enseñó Chopra, sino por ejemplo el castillo de Chichén Itzá o la zona arqueológica de Teotihuacán, que es mucho más difícil de hacer, porque aunque tenemos la fotografía que es muy bella en sí misma, también es muy interesante ver cuando hacemos a detalle en tercera dimensión cualquiera de estos aspectos. Entre estos tres concursos ya contamos con una serie de materiales importantes y por eso estamos subiendo a la nube ya más de 80 productos que han diseñado gentes que hemos convocado en los concursos y que hemos premiado junto con otros socios y Google, sobre todo en el campo de los medios y en el campo de los servicios turísticos, para poder de esta manera, en estos 4 años, aumentar nuestra participación en Google. Adelante. No sé cómo. Tenemos pues el concurso Pon a México en el mapa de monumentos y zonas arqueológicas SketchUp. Lo que hemos hecho primero, que vamos a ver más adelante, este es el resumen. El Atlas interactivo de Google, es decir, el INAH ya es la única entidad pública hasta el momento y el único organismo o país que tiene ya un Atlas interactivo en Google Earth, en que toda la información que tenemos de sus centros históricos, de sus monumentos, va a estar georreferenciada y va a poder accederse inmediatamente. Y estamos haciendo un sistema de Street View exclusivamente para las zonas arqueológicas. Esto es inédito porque, como veremos nada más en el trabajo que estamos haciendo, ya se han hecho en Street View, pero no con un automóvil, sino con una bicicleta armada con cámaras de 360 grados o de 180 grados. Estamos armando ya visitas como quien pudiera caminar en la zona arqueológica en tiempo real. Y finalmente tenemos una gran cantidad de material que el Instituto tenía históricamente en diferentes tipos de registros, sobre todo de videos promocionales o de fondo, películas o documentales que hemos hecho en diferentes momentos. Ahora las hemos digitalizado y las hemos subido en paquete a lo que llamamos INAH TV YouTube. Es decir, que en lugar de buscar específicamente estos programas aisladamente, los tenemos empaquetados, encapsulados en un canal de televisión, es decir, en un segmento de YouTube, en donde cualquier persona al poner YouTube INAH TV encuentra todo lo que el INAH ha producido a lo largo de muchos años, más de los que tenemos ahorita enfrente o atrás de nosotros. Entonces, estos son los 5 puntos. En realidad este es un esfuerzo que va más allá también de Google, pero estoy hablando ahorita de lo que hacemos con Google. Y lo importante en este primer concurso no solamente es tener productos para subir, sino lograr que la gente se sienta parte de que las comunidades, que las personas que habitan en torno a un monumento histórico, una zona arqueológica, tengan el orgullo de tener ese monumento, esa zona arqueológica cerca de ellos y la hagan suya, la aprendan y la conviertan en un diseño de tercera dimensión, como muy bien nos lo mostró Chopra, que para quien lo puede ya hacer entre los jóvenes, que es muy fácil, con las herramientas que están gratuitamente disponibles en Google, pueda construir estos modelos. Adelante. Por ejemplo, tenemos aquí algunos de los modelos de tercera dimensión o SketchUps en 3D que se están utilizando y que lo interesante es que logran una fidelidad y están juzgados por arquitectos e historiadores por la fidelidad que tienen en cada uno de sus diseños estos modelos, sean históricos como vimos o sean arqueológicos como es aquí la pirámide del adivino en Uxmal. Hemos hecho 3 concursos consecutivos, importante no dejar que un año pase sin hacerlo, con 66 modelos en 3D del primero y segundo concursos que ya se subieron a la red. Y en el tercer concurso que está vigente hemos recibido ya 188 proyectos a la fecha, porque se abrió una nueva categoría que no es nada más para estudiantes sino para todo público, y se han elegido ya 41 monumentos históricos y 31 zonas arqueológicas de la República para subirse a la red y para dentro de estos sacar a los ganadores en las diferentes categorías de los premios. Adelante, por favor. Sí, por ejemplo, aquí vemos que en estos modelos lo que parece muy complicado en la calle de una ciudad, pues, o en un centro histórico, es ver con detalle, por ejemplo, toda esta catedral, todo este conjunto catedralicio y monumento y convento perfectamente dotado de sus elementos. Es un trabajo bastante complejo y requiere de mucho más horas que las normales, porque hay que ver todos los detalles que se deben tomar en cuenta. Adelante. Lo que es el Atlas interactivo de Google Earth consiste en la georreferenciación de la oferta cultural de los sitios que tenemos para visitar, de los monumentos históricos y de los sitios arqueológicos, a través de las herramientas de Google. Esto no existe en ningún país, en ninguna otra acción. Lo tenemos particularmente en el caso, se ve mucho mejor en las pantallas chicas obviamente, y aquí lo interesante es que podemos acceder a un punto de esta georreferenciación, y si hay un 3D, pues entramos al 3D directamente. Si hay un paseo virtual ya construido, entramos al paseo virtual que exista, y tenemos una cápsula que da la información de horarios, etcétera, y empezamos a recibir fotografías también de gente que se va subiendo y se va acumulando a toda la riqueza de este lugar. El sitio, pues, información básica en español e inglés, recursos multimedia, es decir, algunos tienen modelación 3D, algunos tienen paseos virtuales o son micrositios con información mucho más profunda, no nada más estas 3 ventanitas que tenemos. Y con eso lo que vamos construyendo es un sistema en que en cualquier parte del mundo o en cualquier parte de México se puedan conocer los sitios, para que cuando ya se llegue a ellos o se tenga ganas de ir a ellos por la información que se requiere, pues es mucho más fácil ya acceder a toda esta información. En esta subcapa, que ya se pondrá abierta al público del mundo en este mes, tenemos 182 zonas arqueológicas, 116 museos, 31 sitios de patrimonio mundial, 83 modelos 3D y 4 escuelas. Lo más importante es que todo este sistema se va a seguir enriqueciendo con los concursos, con las donaciones que nos hagan, con las fotografías que ustedes suban, y entonces se va a construir realmente una capa, un layer, una capa muy rica, muy densa y con mucha información que puede estar siendo actualizada todo el tiempo. El impacto es incrementar el interés de la sociedad nacional e internacional en la historia y los acervos culturales de México, así como facilitar la búsqueda y cómo llegar a un sitio, qué hay alrededor del sitio y navegar en él, que es la otra facilidad que se puede dar cuando se tiene ya el paseo virtual, o si ya se tiene el Street View, como ya lo tenemos prácticamente listo para entrar en noviembre, 38 sitios de Street View, que ahora veremos. Esta estructura de las capas es por estados, entonces se pueden meter ustedes a cualquier estado y ver los lugares que tienen. Colecciones especiales, zonas arqueológicas no abiertas al público, museos, patrimonio mundial, SketchUp, zonas. Está el catálogo, pues, a la izquierda de cada estado, de qué elementos tienen y qué elementos pueden buscar en ese sitio, o simplemente meterse a un sitio y de ahí ver toda la variedad de productos virtuales que están a disposición y que se van a ir incrementando, como lo dije. Como ustedes ven, pues ya la cantidad de información que tenemos ya subida en internet, en la nube, es muy, muy grande. Vamos a ver aquí, por ejemplo, ¿te puedes meter ahí? Ahí nos metemos, tocamos Google Earth y nos metemos al castillo de Chapultepec y empezamos a pasearnos sobre la plaza de armas del castillo de Chapultepec, y después podemos entrar a las salas y ver qué tienen cada una de las salas. Está el modelo, están muchas cosas accesibles aquí. De la vista real se pasa al modelo 3D y se pasa información de cada una de las salas, se pueden visitar los cuadros que hay, etcétera. ¿Quién lo está moviendo? ¿Solito? Bueno, gracias. Pasamos pues al otro tema. Esto realmente va a ser el mayor éxito de lo que estamos haciendo, porque a su vez se va a ir enriqueciendo con este tipo de productos. Estamos pues terminando ya de establecer una herramienta que permite el modelo de desarrollos fotográficos de 360 grados de los sitios arqueológicos. Como no se pudo utilizar un automóvil como en otras partes del mundo, estamos utilizando este modelo que se construyó específicamente para México. No existe en ninguna otra parte del mundo. Es un modelo prototipo que se hizo para México, que están ustedes viendo en la parte superior, con una cámara. Y también se está pensando para lugares más inaccesibles en construir un modelo que pueda ser cargado por una persona y que esa persona pueda caminar con este sitio. Por lo pronto, para este año, de acuerdo con lo que hemos platicado con Google, se va a poder tener el Street View, es decir, el caminar sobre las zonas arqueológicas, y esto está en este año en 33 sitios de 3 estados de la República Mexicana. Si consideramos que es una gran cantidad de personas, aquí dice 10 millones que consultan Street View Maps, pues vamos a tener pues mucha más posibilidad de que la gente no solamente ya lo vea en la georreferenciación en el mapa, sino que se baje a calle, que patee la zona arqueológica, como dicen en algunos lenguajes de Teotihuacán o de Chichén Itzá. Patear es decir caminar, que la recorran, que la vean, que la disfruten, que se paren, que se detengan, y esto lo vamos a hacer gracias a estas herramientas de Google. Por eso, en nuestro caso, nos sentimos muy orgullosos. Ya vimos cómo Chopra los está invitando a todos ustedes a que participen, a subir materiales de este tipo con nosotros. Ya tenemos las plataformas, entonces todos los modelos que se puedan ir subiendo pues van a ser un gran servicio para todos los demás. Estas son las zonas arqueológicas que han sido fotografiadas, son los principales estados con patrimonio, sobre todo en el centro y sureste del país, pero vamos a hacer todo lo que exista posible en el país que esté bajo nuestro resguardo. Entonces, pues es algo único que no existía y que está ya a la mano de todos. En agosto, a mediados de agosto o finales de agosto tendremos ya la capa, y a fines de año tendremos ya todos los elementos que se refieren a lo que es el Street View en zonas arqueológicas. Por último, como mencionaba yo, tenemos empaquetado el línea TV YouTube, y de esta manera podemos accesar a una gran cantidad de videos de 3 minutos, de 50 minutos, de 1 hora, ¿no? En donde se tratan temas desde fiestas antropológicas hasta descubrimientos arqueológicos, hasta conferencias, hasta promocionales, de una dimensión muy importante. Existen otras herramientas de Google y otros proyectos de Google que daremos a conocer en breve, como es, ¿ahí te vas a meter? En 2010 el canal de INA en YouTube fue reconocido por Google como el canal cultural más importante en México debido a la diversidad de contenidos, con lo cual estamos muy agradecidos, y seguimos con más herramientas. Hay muchos proyectos que nos interesan. Está el proyecto el Art Project de Google, que nos interesa mucho para llegar ya al detalle mínimo de lo que son los museos y los contenidos de los museos y las telas y los cuadros de los museos, y por eso estamos abarcando más. La oferta cultural ahorita en estas cápsulas son 488 cápsulas y tenemos ya 1.207.000 reproducciones, que antes eran productos que estaban encajonados o que se sacaban de vez en cuando en algún canal cultural o de los estados. Y ahora está vivo, está accesible y puede ser utilizado por todos ustedes. Muchas gracias a todos. ¿Alguna pregunta? Gracias.
No se vayan, no se vayan, no se vayan. Alfonso, muchísimas gracias. Te queremos entregar este pequeño reconocimiento. Muchísimas gracias. Computers are. Aidan. Thank you very much.
Gracias.
Thank you very much for this. That was a lot of fun. Do we have 2 minutes for questions? We have no more time. All right. I will be here. If you have any questions, please come and find me. Will you also be here?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Claro.
Thank you very much for coming.
Nice to meet you. Los invitamos, la salida es por la parte de la derecha. Muchas gracias.